Welcome, Vihaan.
Good morning.
Finally, the podcast is happening.
Yeah, so how long has it been since we met for the first time?
Over 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Damn.
Definitely
over 3
You are
weeks
a
for
busy
sure.
man. Like, how are things going on? And what's your startup named?
Well, the company is called CXDS. The startup name we are still looking at.
CX?
CXDS. It was
Is
a
it like
play with
CXDS?
my previous co-founder and my name. It was a play of our usernames in the game that we used to play.
Oh, damn.
So now it's called Creative X Design Solutions. We came up with some name. More so, we wanted to focus on the app's name itself, which is something we're actually putting a lot of thought into.
Yeah,
Trying to
it's
figure out a good
important.
name. So the app's name itself we're still working on. The product's name.
Where did the idea come from?
The idea stemmed from, it was just me and my friend talking. We were just talking, and I mean, one night he calls me up and he talks to me about this idea that he came up with, right? And we were talking. It was actually late at night, and we started talking about the idea, right? And I started thinking broadly about how the idea could work, because the idea that he came up with actually already existed, right? It's an idea that a lot of people are working on.
By who's doing that?
Style, for example.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people have seen what Style is doing.
The Pinterest linking. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and there was another company called Style India, Style.in, I think.
Okay.
I am unsure as to whether they have launched or not, but they also had a similar idea, and they were functioning. Well, they were working in India. Probably still are. There's not much data on them as far as I've seen. But as we were talking about the idea, a Tinder, Instagram for clothes, we started thinking I started thinking a little higher. I thought, clothes, everyone's working with clothes. Why don't we go a step further? Let's work with outfits. Okay, if we give a user an entire outfit that they like, they're done with the shopping experience. They don't have to shop for clothes individually. You can get it all done in one go. That's where the idea stemmed from. And this came up last year, February. We were thinking about it in Feb. And so after my exams were done, I decided to go to Chennai to start networking a little. I come from Chennai. I lived in Chennai for 15 years.
Okay, damn.
Even though my family is here in Vizag, I used to stay in Chennai. So I have a lot of friends there that I can go back and visit. And a lot of people that I can network with and talk to. So I decided to go back to Chennai and start networking and talking to people. That is where I started talking to people, and all of them, I would pitch the idea. That I'd tell them, I'd ask them, what do you think about the idea? Do you think it could work? I mean, the first response I got from a lot of people was, an idea is an idea. How you execute it is what makes it good. You can always make any idea work in the market.
Yes.
And you can always have an n number of products that are similar to each other in the market. But the question is, can you make it work? But they all told me, so if you want to figure out if you can make it work, you just have to get started. Like, that's step one. Step one is always getting started.
Right. Definitely.
That's where I decided, you know what, sure, let's give it a go. Let's just get things started, and
How did
we'll
it
see where it
started?
goes. It started from there. Like, as soon as one of my people that I was networking with is with my company right now. I'm working closely with him, and we were networking together there, and we were talking to people, and from all the responses that we got, we decided, let's just give it a shot. Let's just see where it goes. So the next couple of months, I started contacting people, bringing people onto my team, and sort of laying down the groundwork, figuring out how the product would actually look like, figuring out how the user experience would be, how the business model would work. Even now, we haven't fully come about our revenue model yet. We're just trying to think about it from a user's perspective and figure out how can we help the user. That's what's been happening for the past 10-11 months. Ever since last May, we have been working on this. That's how we came about the idea and started figuring it out. I have about a team of 10 people. Got this team, as of the last couple of months, they have been putting such heavy work. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like 110%. I have.
How did you hire all of these people?
These are people I know, acquaintances of people that I know as well, and just started talking, and they had time on their hand, and we decided that we'll set something up and we'll start working.
So are they operating, like, what different fronts are all these people operating on?
Quite a few fronts. One of my juniors from school is my fashion consultant. She's into fashion and she stays in Mumbai. So she's studying fashion design right now. I have 2 or 3 people from Kitamulli, from our uni. I have one from Chennai, and my current co-founder from Chennai as well, and another co-founder who was in Chennai and now he's in Malaysia. Through him, I found someone who is in Singapore who worked with us for quite a while. He was working on our full stack. He was a full stack lead, and I have someone who's helping us with design from Bangladesh as well. In fact, we have quite a few fronts. We work on the fashion front. We work on the full stack front, obviously, right, for the product. We work on the design front. That includes UI, UX, right, and the social media front. Those are the domains essentially that we're working on right now.
Why fashion specifically? How did why did you resonate with this specific? You wanted to get started in this fashion as a thing.
For some reason, right, and even like this question, I myself ask because something that I talked about with the person that I networked with was, are you willing to put in the next, say for example your startup takes off, are you willing to put in the next 5 years of your time in this industry, because you have to make sure of it if you want to make this a success, right? And for some reason, somehow I always connected with fashion on some level. And I was also, like, I'm sure everyone is, but I was also always bothered about the clothes that I put on. You know, people tell you that you shouldn't be bothered by what you put on, but you'd like to feel comfortable in what you put on, right? And that, like, for example, right, ever since last May, I decided that if I'm going to get into the fashion industry, I myself am going to work on becoming better than fashion, how I dress up. Do you remember how I used to dress up? With the jeans and the collar t-shirt.
Yeah.
Ever since then, I have been, whatever is available in my wardrobe, right? A couple of pants I've bought off Instagram brands, and one or two shirts I've bought. Whatever is available in my wardrobe, I've started trying to piece it together after figuring out, okay, these colors go with these colors. This works with that. And I've been like experimenting. Even now, I experiment with wearing different outfits and figuring out whether it works or not. And how I figure it out is I put on the outfit and I go to college, right? And if my friends tell me that I look good, I'm like, okay, this outfit works, you know? I have been on a journey of trying to figure out how fashion works alongside working on a product to tell people what fashion is about, how fashion theory works.
It's like you're living your product.
Yeah,
Is
exactly.
there a theory for fashion?
Yes. That is something we're playing around, fashion theory.
Is
There's a lot
it
of
like
theory involved.
documented properly? Are there like people who have...
It's difficult. I mean, it goes as far as a degree. Fashion designers study fashion theory, right?
Okay. Like what does it say? Like
What does it comprise of?
This personally I haven't taken a full look at yet.
Okay.
But it could be as simple as color theory. What colors go with what colors.
Maybe even silhouettes.
Silhouettes. It could be what pieces match with what pieces.
Okay.
What styles match with what styles. Silhouettes, for example, baggy. Pants are baggy, right? What would baggy match with on top? Something like that.
How different textures may
work together.
Contrast and all of that.
There is a lot of theory involved. Contrast is a very good example. A lot of people are actually surprised by how much theory is involved in fashion.
Interesting. If you think about it, there's a theory for everything.
There is.
Yeah.
There's a theory for everything. There's knowledge to everything. You know.
But I feel like end of the day, as long as it, in terms of fashion at least, as long as it just keeps complementing, one thing complements the other and it looks good
that
to the eye.
That is the idea.
There is not much, you don't need a lot of theory as long as you keep improving your quality of
simplicity.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything lies in simplicity. That is something that we really want to solve as well. Fashion doesn't mean like you put on multiple different layers of clothes. Something simple that fits you, that you look good in, that complements you. That's what matters.
What about getting all maximalist with your fashion, like wearing dozens of like
a lot of jewelry, maybe
all of that, like how hip hop rappers wear shit like that?
There are varying styles to fashion. It is a very broad aspect.
It's subjective.
It is subjective. Some styles have you wearing a lot of layers. Other styles have you wearing very simple clothes.
But they have good texture on them.
That have good texture, yeah. It all depends on highlighting a couple of factors. I was watching a couple of reels, a couple of videos, right? If not color, texture should matter. If not texture, the size should matter. And if not size, the color should matter. Something like that.
Makes sense.
One feature should be prominent that complements you. You don't need every feature to be prominent.
Yes. What do, when fashion designers, they start to design a brand line or a single piece of clothes, what do they think, like, when they start doing it?
Brands, from everything that I've taken a look at and people I've talked to, brands always build around an ideology. There's an identity that they want to bring across. When you wear something from a certain brand, you should feel united with that brand, as one with that identity. You know, Urban Monkey, for example, you know, builds around streetwear and remarkable sales they make. They build around, they serve a very niche segment of the market, but at the same time they're serving so many customers. It's crazy. Like Nike, for example, this I talked about, right? They work around aspiring athletes. There's an identity that a brand always wants to communicate. There was this brand that I came across on Shark Tank. This woman had started a brand for modest clothing. Forever Modest, I think that's what the brand is called. So the identity they revolve around is
Modest?
Yeah, I think. The identity, I may be wrong, I have to take a look at that once, but the identity they revolve around
modest
is modest clothing for women.
Okay, so like, I think in a way, not revealing.
Yes.
I've seen that. Yeah.
A lot of women would like modest clothing that they would feel comfortable in and at the same time fashionable. That was the identity that they were building around for Indian customers. Every brand has an identity that they want to communicate. Every brand has an ideology they want to build around, a community they want to build around that identity. That is the idea.
What is, like, are there any ways that they think about before they like communicate their ideas and all, or is it like just they slap on text or pictures or whatever they
like
want to show people?
For, let's say, you know, Urban Monkey, streetwear, do they just come up with like mood board wise, let's talk like mood board wise, do they just like put up graffiti street culture? So do they just like slap that on their t-shirts and it becomes streetwear? Is that how brands function? Do they just like take stereotypical parts of a culture?
Of other ones, like you know that hat where a lot of rappers wear, right? Which is often associated with streetwear. They just slap their logo onto that and they're selling that.
It varies for brands, I guess. It could be simple for some brands, but a lot of brands that I look at, they care about the culture from where the style stems from. That, and they try to build around that culture. Streetwear, for example, right? They don't just look at products that are streetwear clothes that are in trend, right, and then slap their logo on. They look at where it stems from. They try to figure out what their identity is, and then they customize it for the users that they are serving. Take India, for example. Just because something is trending in the West, right, or in any country, it doesn't mean it could potentially work in India. But the ideology still exists. The culture could still exist. So you can stem inspiration from there and build something that could work with Indian users.
Yeah.
It is comfortable.
But okay, Vihaan. Yeah. So we were talking about streetwear and what is your take on? Let's talk about like streetwear first, street culture, and you know, first of all, okay, I'll just make it a little more easy as a question. Brands, let's say I'm starting off a streetwear brand right now.
Okay.
This instant, okay, and I'm coming up with designs. I know like the basic ones. I make like you know, the washed jeans, like what are they called?
Tie-dye?
Tie-dye tees, and then I would slap on some vintage AC/DC Metallica stuff like that. I put a lot of pockets in pants and then raw wash them. Okay, and that sort of just becomes part of like street culture. Make them baggy. Now let's say I wanna actually stand out from the other brands that are making, because end of the day, you said that brands resonate with a specific community.
Yes.
Right? So if I am a brand that wants to specifically resonate with a community, street culture, but how can I make myself stand out? What can I do? Like, I mean, you know, I still have the ideologies I want to put across. My ideologies. Maybe I just want to try to do something more differently. How do you think I could, as a new brand?
Have you read the book 0 to 1?
Yeah, Peter
that-
One
Thiel.
of the first, one of the co-founders of PayPal.
Hmm.
One of the first things that the book talks about is the difference between 1 to n and 0 to 1. 1 to n was put on a horizontal axis, right? 1 to n would mean you are sort of replicating what already exists in the market, just a different variation of it. Immensely different variations exist in the market. That is 1 to n, right? 0 to 1, on the other hand, is innovation. This
Globalization and innovation.
Yes, globalization
Yes,
is
yes.
innovation. 0 to 1 exists on the vertical axis, right? 0 to 1, for the reason why, at least to me, what I could make out, the reason as to why it exists on the vertical axis is because now it's on a different level. 0 to 1 is essentially you're building something new. You're working on something innovative, something different, something unique, something that doesn't really exist yet. How you stand out purely depends on how unique your product is. And that depends on why it is that you're building what you're building in the first place. Whether it be a product or a brand. Why is it that you are building the brand you are building? There is some ideology that you want to sell along, right? There's some ideology that you want to build around. You can't just there are a lot of people who, for example, think about streetwear, like, I'm going to start my own streetwear brand. But there has to be something that sets you apart for you to actually be prominent in the streetwear scene. Are you bringing something new in? Is your product design unique? The clothes, the products that you're designing with your brand, how do they stand out differently? When you go along those lines, you figure out how it is that you can actually stand, aside from everyone else. I feel like at some point when everyone starts, what they start is similar to what exists in the market. But as they move along these lines, then they are able to figure out how it is that they can be unique. Figuring out how you can be unique and how you can stand apart is something that comes along with the journey. Your story and your journey goes into your uniqueness.
Yes,
I feel
makes sense.
110%. I feel like it
Because
has to come along with the journey.
Our own story is like no one can replicate.
No
them.
one can replicate
No one
yours.
can be you.
Exactly. No one can be you. When you go through the journey and figure out how it is to be yourself and you pour that into what you are building, you are unique.
That is beautiful.
What do your parents think about this?
My parents have been 110% supportive.
Oh, that's rare.
It is, and I'm very grateful that they're supportive of what I'm building. In fact, a lot of my connects come from my mom. She has a wide network as well that I talk
What does she do?
She's a homemaker.
Is she from Chennai?
No, she's from Vizag. Actually, my mom was brought up in Maharashtra for the majority of her life. But a lot of people that she knows, she's connected me to, and I talk to them now. So they have not just been supportive, they've been helping me in building what I'm building, which I'm very grateful for.
Do you think right now, with AI booming and everything, not just in terms of AI, but in general, is fashion, apart from the kind of designs that come up, I'd say pretty much design wise, like, if people think it's really good, it's in trend and it looks good on them, at the end of the day, they go for it. So do you think, apart from design, for fashion, do you think there are any other factors that contribute to a specific style's growth, or if a specific style is booming, apart from the way it looks, do you think there are any other factors that actually...
A style doesn't boom just because of the design, right? There's the storytelling aspect of it. What story is that brand talking about? What story is that style talking about? What story is that product talking about? There's the storytelling aspect. There's the history of the style that is involved as well. How far the style could go back, whether the style is new or whether the style is old. There's a lot. I wouldn't say it's just the design of the product. Maybe there are certain cases where the design of the product is so unique that in the design itself is what actually sells the product, right? But that is again innovation. In one way or another, it's innovation.
Like when Nike released their Air Jordan 1, they also released an identical shoe. It's almost the same before the Air Jordan 1. It's like replica, same of that. But then when they bought Jordan in, when they tried to tell his story, it is what boomed the sales.
Boomed, exactly.
The Air Jordan was revolutionary.
Exactly.
And the whole Jordan, I think, until 4 to 5, they were pretty, like, culturally, they're very reminiscent.
I think, if I'm not wrong, Michael Jordan's fortune came not from his basketball career.
Yeah,
but
from
his
royalties from
sneakers,
Nike.
yeah.
It's the same for Roger Federer, right?
Yeah.
His deal with Nike was so underwhelming for him, so he went to Uniqlo. You know Uniqlo, right? The H&M ka ripoff.
Yeah.
But I think Uniqlo is kind of unique, but so he went to Uniqlo and this other shoe brand called On Running, and he made deals enough that it made him like I think 600 million.
Wow.
That's like he makes 30 million from tennis, and this is like 600 million from brand deals for the rest of his life, and they just keep growing. He has stake in both of the companies.
Amazing.
That you know LeBron I think has $1 billion deal with Nike.
Yeah.
They like built a story. I think Kobe is a good example. After Kobe died, it's been like a very signature line of Nike, whatever Nike puts out. Because until Kobe came, it was very basic. People just used to come and pick their own shoe and have a line with that. But when Kobe came in, he started to get into the engineering of the shoe. He made it so good that a lot of basketball players use Kobe line.
Innovation.
They don't use Jordans.
So there are a lot of factors involved. The emotional aspect, the storytelling aspect, the history aspect, and then it could be as simple as the design, the colors, the engineering aspect of why it is that a product works.
Do you think history of a product, like specifically luxury products, do you think is the history important or the exclusivity? What do you think makes a product luxury? A luxury product like Louis Vuitton, Chanel.
A luxury product revolves around exclusivity, but as it grows, starts evolving around history.
But how does someone start a luxury product now? I mean, anything can be exclusive. You can just limit the sales.
Yes.
But how will someone start a luxury brand now?
A lot of it, is it like looked at as art or something? Because I think a lot of people keep exaggerating on that factor.
They do look at it
how
as
it's
art.
made, the craftsmanship.
Essentially, anything can, like in my opinion at least, right? Anything can look luxurious when you actually, when you actually focus on every aspect of it.
The details of it.
And every step of the process you are looking into.
Makes
Logically, if you think about it, right? When you're looking into every step of the process and sort of elevating the steps you're taking in every step of the process, right? That in itself logically adds value. You're adding value constantly because you're having a closer look. Add that one by one, add that up, and you come to luxury. I feel like.
It makes
So it's like a harmony of perfecting
every detail to come to a product that is luxurious and exclusive.
when it comes to the stores, they like offer a very unique experience. Like when you get inside, you know it's
Exactly.
when you're in a Louis Vuitton store, you know you are in a Louis Vuitton
There's
store.
a reason why they don't sell online.
Exactly.
There's a
They
reason.
want that experience.
They want that physical experience.
What do you think about this? Your app is something that is completely online, right?
Yes.
So, is it like even if there is Myntra, Amazon right now, a lot of people buy online shit, but most of the people I know, they prefer going to the shop, trying them on, seeing if it fits, seeing if it goes well with other things that they're gonna buy, and then buy it. How are you gonna like change that, or is it?
How are you
gonna
going to compensate for the experience?
There are two aspects to this. This is something that we have talked about a lot. One aspect is to keep all of it online, right? So, a very simple aspect to solve a virtual try-on system where they could essentially, they could essentially put up a photo of themselves and the clothes will be put on them and they can have a look at whether it fits them or not.
Or like, can they just upload a picture of them, like a full body? Oh,
yes.
okay, that makes
And you can easily do that, right? And a lot of open source models exist for that.
Why isn't it mainstreamly implemented now?
That is something that I've actually struggled with trying to figure out why it isn't
Maybe
extremely
it's the
implemented.
privacy, how
It could be
pictures are-
privacy issues. That is something that I've looked into. A lot of people actually have issues with that.
Hmm.
This is something we're still working around. So I myself, I'm still trying to figure out. Like there must, for example, Myntra. Myntra has talked about implementing AI a lot, and obviously they have AI running in the background.
Yeah,
It is very non-invasive. You never see it, right? But there must be a reason why Myntra is not implemented. This type of thinking has to go into everything, right? For example, if you ever come up with an idea for a product, the first step besides starting would be, okay, someone else would have come up with this idea, obviously. Why is it that it doesn't exist in the market right now? There must be problems.
It can also be that how people trust these kind of works. Like,
it could be.
Like when you take a picture, you can't be like 100% sure that it looked that way when you look at it in person.
Exactly.
Like
It could
a lot
also
of people look different. They look a little elongated.
Based on the body type, people are not even aware of, people don't try to figure out what their body type is like so they don't put in that 10% effort that can make them looking from 20% to 90. They don't
Fashion revolves around body type a lot. You have to dress based on your body type as well. Anyone can look good. You just have to put a little effort into it and figure out what you have to wear.
Yes.
It could also be as simple as AI only becoming really good at virtual try-on in this period of time.
But do you think people are gonna believe that? They can be like, okay, I look good in this. Or it could just be like the AI is trying to impress you however you're gonna look, and then when you get the actual product, you're not like it's
The idea
it's
is
different.
the AI has to help you understand how you will actually look in the product. Honestly, how you'll look. Because a lot of people might look at a product and a model and buy it, but then it doesn't look the same on them.
Yeah, that is gonna completely ruin their trust in the AI.
Exactly.
I think if there was constant trial and error maybe with the AI, it's all about like training it continuously probably. One thing I could think of right now is if you if you manually type in and drop down your shoulder measurements and everything, if I were to check out like an oversized hoodie, what it would look like. So it would be off shoulder for me, obviously.
Right.
But it would be off at different sizes. It would be off shoulder to different extents. So if I drop in my shoulder measurements, then it would, while putting clothes on me in my picture, it would understand to what extent to scale the off shoulder measurement. You know what I'm saying, to an extent.
Right. Yeah.
So that's like probably advanced as.
But no one's gonna do that. No one's gonna like measure shit. A lot of people have just decreased going to a tailor to get their measurements done.
Exactly. But it is possible to do it with AI. We have done it already. To bring the measurements out of a person's image is possible.
It's iPhones have that measure app, right?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, it works on that.
Just the idea is that a lot of people don't want to go out anymore, which is why they prefer an online experience. But then coming to the people who actually do prefer an offline experience, and I might just be one of them, because alongside starting this journey of fashion, right, when I was in Chennai and then Hyderabad, you remember Hyderabad, right? Whereas I was in Chennai and I was in Hyderabad, I decided to go to as many shopping outlets as possible and look at their products and understand how the physical experience is. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed going out and shopping with my friends. Now this is something that we're working on, but you don't necessarily have to do all of it online. You could do a hybrid model where when people could see what exists, or like people could see what's available online and then get connected to the offline store itself to go and have that physical shopping experience.
Are you gonna have different brands on your app? How is your app gonna completely work, like from A to Z? Your app.
Okay, that question. I mean, the app in itself and how the experience is going to feel like is something we're still working on. We have an idea of what we want the user to experience, but how is it that we want to implement is something we're still looking at. Because we'd like to have people in some way or the other impacted with every step that they go through the app. Like every tap of the button that they have, there's something or the other that they are looking at. There's something or the other that is adding to their experience. So how it is that what was your question?
How your
the
app
brands?
works, like A to Z.
Well,
What's the vision?
What is the experience like? Let's say from a user's point of view.
from a user's perspective, the initial experience that we had in mind was when you hop on the app, when you hop on Pinterest, for example,
Mhm.
you get asked a couple of questions, right? As to what you'd like to look at.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
what
yeah,
what
yeah.
you want your feed to look at.
Yeah.
Have you hopped on the Medium app?
No.
Yeah, Medium.
Medium also asks you a
Yeah,
bunch of questions.
Medium,
for
Guardian,
example.
all of them.
Yeah, they ask you what you want to look at. In a similar process, we also want to first figure out the initial thought process that a user has. What it
Mhm.
is that they install the app for. Why? What is it that they want to look at? What preferences do they have?
Right.
That would be the first step.
Mhm.
And then we wanted to keep things simple. You land on the homepage,
Hmm.
and the homepage is something we want to very closely work on because a lot of homepages are homepages for the sake of homepages.
Exactly.
You know, they exist for the sake of being a homepage.
Yeah.
We want the homepage to serve a function.
Hmm.
You know, we want the user to hop on the homepage and use the homepage for what it and serve its purpose. You could use the homepage to access various parts of the app, right?
Hmm.
But the main aspect would be, you know, shopping for outfits, for example.
Hmm.
So we have your preferences, and we let the AI build the outfits, and then you can have a look at the outfits. You like an outfit, you swipe right. You dislike an outfit, you swipe left.
Hmm.
We learn your taste.
Hmm.
We learn your preferences, and you could come across multiple outfits that you like.
Hmm.
And there's that. You have an outfit. You don't have like what I talked about.
You can just order that from your app.
You can just order that. You don't have to shop for clothes individually anymore. Have like a million different tabs open, trying to figure out which clothes go with what clothes. I see a lot of people using models to pair clothes together, and then using another model to figure out how it looks on them.
Okay.
I've seen people do this because these models already exist.
Mhm.
They're just not synced together.
Okay.
All of this you do in one step. All of this you do in one platform.
Hmm.
You're done.
I get that. Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's basically like mixing all steps together. The part where you first of all pick an inspiration, then pick some colors, try figuring out silhouette, and see checking if that looks good on you. You're cutting down on all of that in a single go.
Yes, exactly. You want to save the user's time,
Hmm.
right? When you think about it, why does every product that exists in the market actually exist? Because in some way or the other, they're breaking the standards that exist in the market. Could you imagine life without a Swiggy or a Zomato? Like right now, could you imagine a life without a Swiggy or a
Right
Zomato?
now.
No.
But before Swiggy and Zomato entered the market, could you imagine a life without them? Yes, exactly. Why is it? Because
The
they are
convenience.
breaking
Convenience
the
of it.
standards. They are
Yeah.
breaking some. They are innovating. They have broken the standards some way or the other. They're bringing a revolution,
Hmm.
right? That, in my opinion, is how a product becomes a success. Because if you want a product to be a success, then it has to, in some way or the other, break what the current standard is in the industry that the product is going into.
Damn.
You're innovating. You're giving users a new experience. You're building something that users cannot eventually live without.
Hmm. It's like it's how they sustain. It's also the same for how creative shit is done. Like if you just keep replicating what someone else did and be like, okay, this works, I'm gonna do that. It's not gonna you're not gonna be different. You're not
One
gonna
to end.
sustain. And after a while, you're like, okay, you're another beer biceps.
Yeah.
You're doing a same podcast, same format. You do a very cool ass intro, and after
Exactly.
that you keep on yapping about not things that are.
Keep on yapping.
It's the same as reels. People, thing is, how easily can it be replicated?
Exactly.
If you are so different that you can't be replicated, then of course you can be replicated. But the point where the replication stops is you being the point, you being the difference.
Exactly.
You putting your influence into the.
Exactly.
Like let's take the brand Yeezy. The fact that Yeezy is there because Kanye. I bring Kanye into everything.
It's like Adidas was flowing, Kanye came, Adidas flowed
boosted-
differently.
he boosted it. You know, he saved Gap. You know that Gap was dying.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Gap, Balenciaga and his collab just fucking revived Gap.
Yeah.
And then also Virgil Abloh,
Mm.
the Off-White founder.
I've heard.
He's a visionary. His designs and all of that, they're just off-white. They're good, man. They're good. They have like proper vision to whatever they want to do. They have like very good set of inspirations. They draw in their own stories, their own culture to things. It makes them unique.
Yeah.
You can't just replicate them and expect it to sell
Exactly.
or go. I mean, the intention is also important. What are your intentions with the product? Like, do you want it to be a mass-produced product? Make something that everyone will wear. But when you want to stand out, or when you want something that should be like unique, different, you need to think like you. Start doing it like, nah, I'm gonna do it my own way. I'm gonna do it like this. So I'm gonna let it be like this. If that person prefers it like that, why the fuck do I care? I just do it however I want it to.
Exactly.
It's the same in every single aspect. Like even teaching, how doctors operate, how creators do, how movies are made, how businesses are
You're
built.
putting your vision out into the world, and people who resonate with your vision will come to you.
Exactly. There are always an audience. There's always a patient who resonates with how this doctor operates, how a therapist operates, how a firefighter or a policeman, their way, how the criminal is found. It's very reminiscent in every field of work. But I think lately people are just forgetting that. They're just choosing to do the easy one, replicate it.
They just choose to look at all of this as mundane things.
Yeah.
You know, like everything, every single thing. Fashion individually, it's art. It's art. Like everything is art. You just, you can't just look at something. You can't, just because you're doing it on the daily does not mean it's mundane. You're not just fireman thing. What you gave a bunch of teaching. Teaching is an art. To be able to make a point clearly to a bunch of kids who are intellectually not as good as you, and still make them understand that this is the intensity of this concept. It's an art.
Yeah, it's an art.
It's an art. Fashion, when you look at it, to be able to harmonize how you look with the kind of things you put on, the colors you put on, the way you put it on, and the kind of meaning you're putting across with your clothes, that's art.
Yes.
So
Creates an artificial glow when you are really dressed up. I mean, to yourself, it's not to the people, but when you like wear good clothes that you think are good and walk out, you have like this very
confidence
glow that you created for yourself. That you are confident. You know that okay, I'm gonna fuck this shit up.
I think a big part about fashion is the confidence of the person who's wearing what they're wearing, and that confidence is boosted when they're wearing what they're comfortable in and wearing what they like.
I love hearing this. I agree.
It's just complementing each other, and it essentially becomes a feedback loop. One thing complements the other, and then this is complementing the other thing again. Again and again, it's a loop.
The ideas are crazy, man. I know this marketing thing Kanye did. He was like, he was fucking going rebellion against Grammys, so that he wears Yeezys and throws his Grammy into the toilet and starts to pee on that. And the main thing, like under that, there are the Yeezys. So it's a symbol of rebellion. That you're going against authority, you're going against the big guys.
Oh yeah.
It's like that. It's how he puts. I think in like season 8 of Yeezys, the clothes all of them wore, they were like homeless people inspired. That, and there was a season where it was firefighter inspired, workers inspired, because he wanted Yeezy to be an everyone brand. He wanted people to know that this is my vision. I don't fuck with the everyday shit. I'm gonna do shit in my own way. And if you align with whatever he thinks, you can do that too. Right now he's gone off track, but yeah.
Right now he's just gone off track.
Bro, he's putting bare minimum effort. He's putting fucking Nazi thing and doing a Super Bowl ad. That is not good.
Didn't he declare he's gay or something?
What?
Something very offensive the other day on Twitter.
He had a meltdown on Twitter.
Yeah, I know. That he's Nazi.
That he's a Nazi, I'm a Nazi, yeah.
It's just...
He put out a tweet later on saying, "Now that I realize it, I am not a Nazi."
Oh my... He's just...
Who do you say
He's a great fashion designer.
That just really stand out to you, inspire you?
Old ones, new ones, anyone. Not Mahesh Malhotra, is that the guy? Sorry guy. Langa guy.
Who do I think is a great fashion designer?
Yeah.
A great fashion
Just an innovator.
innovator.
Which you align with.
I don't really have anyone in mind because like everyone talks
Brings
about a
their
different
own-
story. They bring their own story.
What
into
story do you like the most? Like something do you like? A good fashion designer.
Or any brand that you think really stands out.
I think Urban Monkey stands out a lot from what I've seen. I have liked the way Urban Monkey has gone about it, and I've liked the story that they are putting out. I mean, as I was researching about Urban Monkey, right, I hop on their website
Okay.
and I see that they are shutting down whatever products they had.
What?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
This is something that is really interesting to me. This was a couple of months ago.
What?
Where
They shut down?
They didn't shut down.
Okay.
They were changing everything. That was essentially the story. They put out a big part of the website, right as you land at the homepage is telling you, sorry, but we are closing out all these products, and they put it on a full sale. What are the sales called?
Full sale?
They are just
put it on-
done with the product, so they are putting all of the products that already
For example,
they manufacture on sale.
Retail stores that are going to restock, right? So they put all the
Old ones.
old ones on sale.
Yeah.
It has a term. I'm
It's
not
not-
able to
is-
recall the term.
It's not resale. It's just
Like essentially,
restocking sale. ऐसा कुछ.
but they were not restocking their products any longer.
Yeah.
And this was something that actually I was flabbergasted. I was thinking, oh, this is a crazy move because it's so scary to pull, and at the same time, so different. They decided to stop with all the products they have and put out new products.
Damn. That's a good way to put out it.
They wanted
word
to,
out.
and I still am not able to figure out why it is that they did what they did. Maybe they wanted to adapt to the market. Maybe they wanted to bring something new to the market. But they were changing. What they were showing and what they were showcasing was they're changing. They're not the same old anymore. Out with
Did the
the old,
products
in with the
change?
new.
Or
Yeah.
Right
like,
now?
how different are they? What is the
They are
difference?
different. I haven't taken a full look at it, but all the old products are gone.
Like the
And new
caps
products
with
are.
the
Yeah.
It's like a reinvention. I think in a way, in a lot of ways, I think it makes sense to me because when you are in the same environment, when you're working with the same set of people, if you think about it, the kind of outputs you'll have will be on the same spectrum.
Exactly.
So that I think this sounds like one way to me, or maybe the only way. Like eliminating all of it, eliminating everything that you.
They're not afraid. They're not afraid of change.
They're not corporates when they're at a point they're like, nah, man,
They're not afraid of risk. They took the
It
risk.
should be like that.
Especially, I think they were actually doing quite.
Remarkably well.
Yeah.
Damn. What are the big companies that still take risks? Like they are like, fuck it, we just do our own thing.
No,
Big
not really
companies.
anyone anymore. They're all
Big
comfortable in their zone. Maybe you can't blame them because they are doing really well and they don't want to change. But I really admire the companies, the startups and the brands that do want to change and take a risk for something even bigger, even if it's working. Because you can always be better. You can always be better.
Like, I think a lot of this happens in Europe where we don't see shit like this, because even if big brands do it there, they just don't come here. We don't see them because it's not really our market, and marketing here would be a waste of money.
A
and
very
resources.
interesting story that you brought. Now that you brought this up, right? Do you remember the platform called Jabong?
I'm aware of it.
I heard of
There was a shopping platform that was really big called Jabong.
Okay.
And this was back when we were young.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, when
Oh,
Yahoo was the standard.
Its logo was like just a J.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It's like Yahoo, I think.
What
Jabong.
happened was, and this was a platform that my mom used to shop from as well, right? Jabong's idea essentially was to bring the brands that exist outside India, abroad, into the Indian marketplace.
Okay.
Myntra bought out Jabong and shut Jabong down.
What the
What?
Myntra bought Jabang and
For
completely
what? I mean, they
scaled
can
it.
just get the other brand
They
into
probably,
India, right?
I'm pretty sure they brought it onto their platform and then just shut Jabang down because they wanted one platform.
Okay, a lot of times companies do that to kill the competition, like
Yeah,
how
that could have
Apple
also
bought
been it, yeah.
Beats, but probably that could have been
That
how
could have also
innovative
been it.
Beats is. But I don't know, a lot of companies do that.
When you have that kind of money, those are the kind of moves that you can make.
Like Facebook getting WhatsApp.
Hmm.
Instagram too, right?
Yeah,
Instagram,
too.
WhatsApp.
It's
Yeah.
like
Facebook,
Meta now.
fucking empire shit. Oh, it's like Walter White telling you think I'm in the meth business? No, I'm in the empire business.
You can see a lot of brands rebranding right now. Jaguar, for example. Did you? I mean, you would have seen the way they've scrapped their old logo and come up with a new logo. Like
Is it like
they pulled their Instagram page down completely. They
is it
pulled
like
it out.
the Jaguar sitting like this now?
No, it's just letters now.
What?
Just letters?
And I still can't figure out what the idea behind the move was. But from what I can see, the fact that they have pulled down their old logo, made a new logo in the modern sort of letters. You know, that's the logo that they've gone for. Whether it be good or bad attention, they are getting attention.
I mean, I think the attention is for a while. If you just, these are like, you're announcing changes happening.
But
you're just gonna get the spotlight.
Yeah, but then you have to sustain.
Exactly.
You have to sustain.
Without
once you get the
continuous
spotlight.
innovation, you can't really
cannot
sustain. Like overnight, you'll be like, name change kar denge, kal
Hey.
we'll be big.
Good example, Skype. Skype shutting down. You ever see that? I was so surprised, right? I mean, I knew Skype was shutting down at some point, right? Because they couldn't innovate anymore. But Skype put out a post saying that in May they're going to shut down,
Shit.
right? And no longer can you actually listen to the iconic Skype ringtone, right? And then Discord retweeted that and said, "Thank you for walking so we could run."
Oh shit.
Oh shit. I think continuous innovation should be a part of
Necessary.
it's for a lot of brands, like let's take BMW, Porsche, Ferrari. They still have the same logos. Why they are not rebranding?
They've set a standard for themselves as their own. They're in a league of their own, distinct league of their own.
Even
Is how I look at
Jaguars,
it.
the logo is reminiscent. Not like they should have been doing like really bad, or they saw whatever shit that was gonna happen to them coming, and they had to like had their name out in the newspaper.
They're still keeping the Jaguar, like it's on the car. I saw it somewhere on the new car. Like I said, they pulled down an Instagram page and then put out a post for the first new car that they're launching.
Did it have the Jaguar logo?
It had the new Jaguar logo, but the Jaguar itself was there somewhere on the car. I saw that. It was mentioned. And if you like talk about, you were gonna say something.
No, I was just saying. I was thinking another take on why people would even change logos, because Puma and then PV Sindhu's that Puma. I just think it's like, keeping up with the times in a way sometimes.
It's a move. You're making a move to try and keep up with what the market is right now. To try and keep up with the changing market. For example, right, if you're talking about the automobile industry, you have all these classic automobile brands, all these classic companies. How did Tesla make it big?
Elon Musk.
How did Musk make Tesla big is the question, right? I think
Self-driving vehicles.
he was the first one, or probably
Putting like people who used to think that okay, this idea is not gonna happen anytime soon, used to push on that. I'll give that to him. Except
like one of the few things that matter in today's world again is innovation, right? One of the only few
innovation always mattered.
He brought in innovation with the EV technology. He brought in innovation with what your car would be capable of. Right? And that's how Tesla made it big.
There is speed, there is no diesel. Electric and speed. Boom. People
Self-driving.
And then what happened? All the other brands started innovating with EV technology as well.
A lot of people are doing EV shit.
Yeah.
I think Tesla shit is not even patented from what I heard.
Actually, Elon Musk
made it open source, I think.
I was looking at a video, right, of Musk talking about how he doesn't like patents. Because
it's just limiting.
Exactly.
Creativity.
Patents in a way they limit creativity and innovation. You can no longer innovate and create with a patent.
It's very selfish.
It's very,
Patents are very selfish.
Yeah. So that's probably why a lot of their technology is not patented. I'm not sure actually. I should take a look.
It's a lot of lack of trust in the other people. Like when you do shit, you're so like scared because the world is just running for getting the money. If it's out there, people are just gonna replicate it. But I think you need to have that trust in our race as general,
Exactly.
that me putting this out will help a lot of people just move forward.
There's one
let's say
aspect of-
DeepSeek.
Yeah.
They made all of that shit open source.
Look at what the competition did. DeepSeek came in, and now GPT released its O3 High model.
Yeah,
And they did not
put
limit
it
the
on-
prompts on it either.
Wait, what?
They were
what
forced to.
What exactly? Are you talking about?
So after DeepSeek, I think Saif is a good one to talk about it.
I talk.
Yeah, it's good.
What happened is DeepSeek came in from this hedge fund startup,
Okay.
Mm.
wherein you guys know what's a hedge fund, right?
Yeah.
Hedge fund, basically what they do is they have a lot of math computer science people, and they give them complex problems to solve, and they find where to invest all of this money that they have in. So they had a lot of GPUs that were there on the side, and some Chinese engineer came and he was like, "Sir, I'm going to revolutionize AI technology. Can you give me some GPTs?" So the company people gave him those GPTs, and he made a whole different thing. So basically, how ChatGPT and all of these technologies work is they use reinforcement learning. Sorry, they don't use reinforcement learning. They use supervised learning, wherein they label all of the data that is going on.
Yeah.
This DeepSeek guy used
Reinforcement
learning.
Chain of thought.
No, that is different. Reinforcement learning is like you just give the AI the problem. It understands the problem with trial and error. It tries out a problem. If the solution is correct, it will go back. If it's not correct, it will try again. That's how they did it. And now ChatGPT also launched this O3 High, and now 4.5 as well. But 4.5 is a lot expensive than DeepSeek and Claude 3.7 as well. So people are complaining that even if this is a new model, but still the prices are so high that people can't use it.
I was talking to a founder. His name is Uttam Banerjee. I think he is the founder of a company called Zero Order. Zero Order, and it is under Zero Order. Right?
Zero Order.
Zero Order, except one of the O's is missing. It's together.
Zero.
Zero Order.
Sounds very familiar.
You're probably thinking about Zero Order.
Zero Order.
Okay, here's the thing, right? I was talking to him, I was interviewing him, and he was talking about how one should never back down from competition, because competition makes you innovate, which forces you to innovate. And what matters? Innovation. Innovation is what matters.
I think in the book 0 to 1, I think Peter Thiel says that monopolies are important in a way. I don't know. I think he did. He told it in a very contrasting way that I did not agree to it. I think he told that monopolies are better than competition, something like that. I think he did. Not really sure.
I don't exactly remember. I have to go back and read.
Yeah, I have to. But it was something like that. But yeah, I completely agree on that. Competition just forces you to push the boundaries and all. Like you could have been fine with 7.5, but then when you saw the competition was nearing an 8, you could go to a 9.
9, exactly. Yeah. And it is human nature to compete. It is in your blood to feel that competitive energy and compete.
You want to stand out on top.
Exactly.
That is what makes. Let's not get toxic. Like I just want to get to the number. You should get that innovation. Just moving forward together.
That is probably the worst and the best quality that we could possibly.
Like, see, all of us do content. Saif does it, I do it. But if you were like, nah, I'm gonna concentrate on my own thing. I'm gonna not let these people grow. We wouldn't have been here. All of this we have right now is collaborative, creative effort.
Yeah. But now that I think about it, we have nobody to compete with.
We don't have competition here. Maybe
if you don't have competition here, you look at a bigger picture.
The bigger picture, yeah. I mean, here competition is, I don't think it's relevant.
When you feel like you have no competition, right? And this is my opinion. When you feel like you have no competition, that's when you realize, okay, now you move on to the bigger picture. You move on from feeling like you're on top to feeling like you're on the bottom.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Already.
Bombay.
Yeah. We just have to keep ourselves in check with feeling at the bottom.
You climb up from the bottom of a staircase to the top of a staircase, and then you you're like, okay, I'm on top of the staircase. What now? And the next step is you look at the next flight of stairs.
You
know,
realize
look
that
at
you're
the next
still on
flight
the
of
9th floor and there are like 23
stairs.
floors more.
Exactly.
Yeah, what do you think, like, it's a very specific question. So when a viewer goes onto your app, he searches, how are the recommendations gonna come? Like, is it based on the place or what he searches?
It's based on a lot of factors. It could be based on the place they're in. It could be based on the weather conditions that they're in, which is something we're looking at. It could be based on the preferences they have. It could be based on the searches they're making. It could be based on like brands that they don't like, for example. We're trying to consider every factor possible for the user.
Okay. This thing, if we as AI don't know, we wanted to start a merchandise line, what do you think is like a good way
What are the
to
steps
start?
to like begin with? What is the foundation we'll have to lay down?
A merchandise line.
Or
I am actually
a fashion line. We are like AI don't know season 1 of all banger clothes.
I see us doing that. I
I
actually see us doing
see us
that.
doing that. Yeah, fuck yeah, we will do that.
I actually have no idea. This is something that I am myself learning, right? How it is that you can be prominent. But every time I look into it, I'm not even qualified enough to probably talk about it, right? But in my opinion, this is simply just my opinion. Again, as long as you're able to execute on what makes you stand out compared to what is existing in the market, your line will be a success.
Okay.
Because rather than thinking about serving 1 million customers, you should think about how you can resonate with your ideal customer, with
our own
the
tribe.
ideal person who resonates with your ideology, and they'll come.
There's also this other thing, like when you have an idea, it's like it's so groundbreaking that you change the norms.
Yeah.
You change the norms of fashion.
Exactly.
How is that gonna come? What do you think?
It doesn't come in a go, I feel like. It's a slow step-by-step process where eventually you come out with something that when you actually start looking at the bigger picture, realize, okay, it's actually breaking standards. You cannot instantly see it breaking standards. That's difficult, right?
It's like how podcasting started with Joe Rogan. Interviews, people talking on television have existed for a while. But when Joe Rogan started doing it, the name podcasting became reminiscent, and now everyone is doing podcasting. It influences politics and all of that shit. And now people are realizing that, oh my god, podcasting is groundbreaking.
But
It's take a simple example, like Swiggy, Zomato, like we were talking about, right? Home deliveries used to exist. Restaurants used to
Big
do
Basket
that.
was there.
Yeah, and then when Swiggy and Zomato started slowly doing it, right? Okay, people felt like they came across something better to get them what they need. But now when you take a look at the bigger picture, you see how groundbreaking it has become. You see how much it has revolutionized.
Damn, it is.
Again, it's like just building off of what's already been built for you.
But then you're innovating.
Exactly.
You're coming up with something.
Trial and error in a new way.
It's trial and error. It's always trial and error.
Last one, what do you think about thrift stores?
I think thrifting is...
A lot of people look down upon thrifting because
Oh,
it is second hand or it's just used clothes and all of that.
I
People
think
just don't like thrifts.
That is
in
something we
general.
actually are working on. I think thrifting is like completely fine. I don't think...
Thrifting is like a great thing.
you
It's
should
like,
never, you should never look down at a product just because it is second hand.
At least.
and
Okay,
it's
so
like,
what if it's
like
second-hand?
a lot of people think it's for the poor and they are like, nah, we're not gonna do
Take
thrift.
for the example your clothes. Have you worn those clothes before?
My pant is thrift. My pant is my dad's, technically thrifted.
This is my Anna's.
This is his.
Exactly, but you feel like it's a second-hand piece. You feel like it's thrifted, or you feel like
Exactly.
it's
I
your
feel comfortable.
piece.
I
You
feel
feel
great
comfortable,
in it.
exactly.
Great in it.
I've worn this sweater quite a few times now. In a sense, if you're very logically speaking, this is a second-hand piece now. I've worn it.
Yes.
What defines second-hand? One person has worn it and now you're wearing it?
I wanna
Half my clothes in my wardrobe are from my dad.
Damn, see?
Do I feel like
All
it's
of my
thrifted?
shoes, a lot of my pants, t-shirts, everything
Exactly.
is thrifted from
One
online.
pair of my shoes that I use, my grandpa bought them. I'm using them now.
I want to show this to a lot of you and be like, oh, look at this. Have some respect for the planet. But yeah, again, it's sustainable. It makes sense. Again, and
Exactly.
when thrifted items are there, you get different pieces from different places.
Exactly.
And you look at them, there might be things which you resonate with.
See, this is something that
Designs
we're
which you
working on
like.
as well. we want to try bringing this onto the platform as well. You have Myntra serving with big brands. Then you have a company like Meesho serving with the local retailers, right? But when you join them together, you come up with something so unique. Right?
Interesting. Yeah, thrifting as a whole, I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea. That you're
Are you gonna add thrifted products into your?
We're still looking into it. That itself, we're still looking into it.
Thrifting is like there are flea markets, thrift stores in person, but right now a lot of them you can't find it here, but the ones I get are from Instagram. And like you go through them, you like find a random piece. Sometimes it's not your size, but you like the design so much that you end up ordering it. Like my shoe size is 12.5, but I use a 11 size shoe just because it's thrifted and I like the design.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think it's a great thing. Thrifting is good, in my opinion. People who don't like thrifting, fuck you all. Anyway, man, it has been a great chat. We are kind of low on time, but
that's well. I actually enjoyed
it was a great conversation.
talking. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
There will definitely be a part 2 for this.
Definitely.
I can see it, because there is so much more to talk about.
Yes, the next time we'll have like
I'll have a lot more the next time.
Let's go, man.
Yeah,
Next time we are gonna do it in a wardrobe.
Wardrobe? No, let's next time.
In a trial room.
I'm not gonna jinx it, but
What?
we'll have our own merchandise designs and everything.
Let's go. Let's
next
go.
time-
I'll host you guys.
Yeah.
Let's go. Fuck yeah.
Let's say we'll have a team over next time. Like we'll have them in the background and everything. And your co-founder.
We'll have our merch on his app.
Oh shit!
I'll wear
we'll
that
be
cup.
wearing each
I'll
other's
wear
merch.
that cup.
We'll be
Let's go.
wearing each
Let's
other's
go.
merch. That'll be good.
Yeah, so that's a great idea.
Our designs on him and his
his
designs
designs.
on us. That'll be great.
Yeah, man, it's a good idea.
Sounds
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah.
Sounds mad.
Love this.
Should be.
Let's
soon.
shake on it. Yeah.
Let's go, man. There we go.
Yes. Okay. That was episode 8. Vihaan, you have been great. It has
Thank
been
you,
an
thank
amazing
you.
conversation.
Thank you so much for having me, Han.
All right, and with that, we'll see you on the other side.
50K next month.